I love our guy Pat at NBC Sports Roto World. He's a friend of this show, and really really nice to PHNX Sports, and he's a good guy on Twitter. But he had Monti Ossenfort ranked like 25th in his GM rankings. But he also made a caveat to say, like, Kyler Murray plays well, like this team could go to the postseason. I feel like everybody's using that kind of as an out, like, hey, the Cardinals could be really bad, or they could be a playoff team. And those to me are the best kind of off seasons where it's like, you're still not getting your due. You can play the disrespect card, but people understand and recognize, specifically at the quarterback position, oh, this is a guy who could take over games. This is a guy that can help us get to where we want to be. And they're very much, in my opinion, on the trajectory of the Detroit Lions 2 years ago, where they had the initiation culture year, and then they took off from there.
I don't understand that 25th overall for Monty. That's
behind Ron Carthon too. It's bad.
That makes me want to puke in my mouth.
Yeah, Patrick Doherty, who's great. He's fantastic, but his list stunk. It was a bad list. I wasn't going to
Rand Carthon? Rand Carthon made one good move as a general manager?
The only
Ossenfort, I mean, does Rand Carthon have a viral video of him just owning other GMs, maneuvering the draft board in his first draft in 2023, and then adding a 12-player draft class this year that was, I mean, universally beloved?
The only GMs that Ossenfort is ahead of that are not new GMs are the Broncos' George Patton, and then the Jaguars' Trent Baalke, which is kind of a joke.
He's ahead of the guy that broke wind on the podium, a guy that ripped ass and acknowledged it. Trent Baalke. Like, who? Name me a couple. So Rand Carthon.
Rand Carthon's directly in front of him. Joe Sheehan, or Shine, whatever.
The Giants?
The Giants GM, 23. Ryan Poles is at 22. Everybody's slobbering all over Poles. Terry Fontenot, the Falcons.
Oh boy!
Is there a pause there?
Can you clean it up, please?
Sorry about that. Terry Fontenot, the Falcons, who butchered the draft this year and took a 24-year-old rookie after signing Kirk Cousins to $1 billion. He's 21. Joe Douglas at 20 is asking to be fired.
Dude, this is the worst. This is the worst list I've ever heard. Who's in the top 10? Who's in the top 10? I'm not saying Ossenfort deserves to be in the top 10. He's a top 20 GM already.
John Schneider, 10. Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones combo at 9.
Okay. Schneider deserves to be in top 10. What he's been able to do in Seattle for so long.
Brian Gutekunst, Packers, 8. Brandon Beane, 7. I think the Bills are kind of low-key trash as a roster. That's a reach. Brad Holmes, 6. He's done a good job.
Yeah.
Eric DeCosta, Ravens, 5. Les Snead, 4. Howie Roseman, 3. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, 2, and then number 1, Brett Veach of the Chiefs. So Cardinals are competing with 3 executive administrative staffs that are in the top 10. So what else is new?
That is horrendous. Just under ranking of
I think
but that's just you're not paying attention. Rand Carthon
has done a horrendous job. He's done really bad. He's not like all the players that they mentioned were like free agents that he signed. No draft outside of like Tajay Spears.
Overpaid Calvin Ridley. He's like, oh, good job, man. Way to go. You gave $90 million to Calvin Ridley when nobody else would. Only
Animal TV saying you have to win games. I think it's you got to win games. You got to have young players that pop off. I agree with that. But I also think just at the end of the day, like, can we acknowledge and recognize like Paris Johnson, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Michael Wilson? Like they have guys who are on the cusp of stardom in the NFL. Yeah. You know, hey, Kyler Murray or not, like this team's gotten much better, and they could not have been in a worse.
Rand Carthon, Will Levis, and Peter Skoronski. I mean, there hasn't. I mean, I like Tajay Spears, but that's not enough to put him. I mean, what is he? What name? Any roster maneuver that he's made that best Monti Ossenfort? Name one.
Couldn't tell you.
It's bad.
Other than the Titans won more games than Ossenfort's Cardinals last year.
Okay.
So maybe that's what they're judging it off of.